I've had this idea quite recently. What would happen and what would it take to break the save file? And what would happen if we did so? So I figured, heck yeah, let's do it. So I already had one International Space Station in Kerbal orbit. And I decided I'm gonna just cheat another one into space, because it would not be anywhere near possible to do it legitimately. Just look how big it is. It's like 90% size of the real one. So the station you just saw was the original one I've put in orbit a few days ago, I believe. And this is me trying to load the station in the VAB. Now you can see how big it actually is. Just wait till you see it in relation to a spacecraft. A single station just like that has a huge impact on the game's performance, to the point that I have to dock manually with the station at like 2 or 5 FPS or whatever. And now we have 2 of these in orbit. You can see me dealing with the launch clamps right now and make their way into orbit as well. I just have to ditch them and later on remove them from the map screen, or I should probably say from the tracking station. I also have to pause the game and time warp quite a lot as well, so the station just doesn't shake itself into pieces, and it's gonna happen later in the video too. So right now, place your bets in the comments. What is it gonna take to actually break the save file? I want the game to crash and not recover. And speaking of recovery, we just shook into pieces and the station just fell down from the orbit into the ground, I believe. It has been an issue for quite a while and I don't really pay much attention to it anymore. So I reloaded the save file and we got the station back into the orbit, and we can actually take care of the debris right now so it doesn't mess with anything. I mean, I could flood the orbit probably, but that's not the point of this video series. So let's kick things off with a Falcon 9 Crew Dragon launch. And yes, I do realize the Crew Dragon does not really look that close to its real life counterpart. I find it to be the only way to build it, as in current state of the game. You also may have noticed our first stage, the booster, does not have landing legs. There's no elegant way to do it. The booster also flips out on landing every single time. I have no idea but we're still gonna recover the booster. We're just gonna land in the sea. So we staged and now we're doing the boostback burn. We're gonna wait till the booster loses speed and starts going down. It's kind of spinning right now. I was trying to negate the spin with some cheeky engine burns, but ultimately it was not needed. Just needed to gain some vertical speed and just flopping around right now. And miraculously, it's calm. We can slow down almost all the way now. I'm still kind of learning how to fly it. It's a freshly built rocket, but the booster is down and we can continue on our way to orbit. This is a fairly simple maneuver, as you've probably seen me and other people fly rockets hundreds of times, if not thousands, but I still wanted to give you guys a proper launch. Right now we are aiming for approximately 92 kilometer orbit, if I remember correctly. So we're just gonna wait till we are higher up, then burn prograde, and so on, just the standard KSP thing. The final burn for this stage is coming up. Just gonna put ourselves in a stable orbit and stage. Just turn on the crossfeed and we can plot our maneuver node to the station. It's just a small burn. It was just around 20 meters per second if I saw correctly. And we are nearly at the station. Now we need to play it smart, because if we approach the station too quickly, the station itself will just collapse. It's just gonna explode. So you just saw me switching perspective to the station, and yeah, it did kinda break. As you can see, the solar panel at the bottom of the screen is flopping. It's gonna come off in a sec. And so I just had to reload the quick save and pay close attention to when I actually have to switch to the ISS again. It's a beautiful build, if I can say so myself, even though it's mine. But it's demanding, of course. Of course it's gonna be demanding. It's huge. So some time ago we switched our velocity relation to the target. We can lose the speed and burn towards target and just coast our way to the station. We are near the point where I'm gonna actually have to switch between the Dragon and the station quite a lot, just to be sure the station does not explode again. I mean, it's fine if we are in time warp, but I'm gonna have to jump in and out of time warp to do my burns. As you probably know, I'm quite lazy, so I can't really be bothered with proper maneuver node making and dropping out like 500 meters away from the station. Plus, it would end in a catastrophe if I did that. Believe me, I tried. So this method plays nicely with my laziness and with the safe approach to the problem. And just like that, we are less than 900 meters away from docking, which is gonna be very, very hard with 7 FPS, I think. But ugh, you can see the shape of the solar panels, the radiators I had to make with wing pieces. It's just something about the panels that just gives me chills every time I see the station. Now that I'm watching back the footage and making this commentary, I kind of realized I probably should have made the station approach a little bit shorter or just fast forward the video a little bit more. But here we are, 70 meters away. We basically just arrived. I'm gonna kill all of our speed, and I think I already did that, but I'm gonna target the docking port. It's the one on the side, out front, I think, and we will try to dock. On your guys' screen, this is buttery smooth almost, and it was really choppy for me. I'm doing my best, please believe me. Oh, and yeah, this is the docking port. I targeted it. You can't really see it, but docking during the daytime or on the light side of the planet wouldn't really make much of a difference. You can't really see a lot. I mean, I have the docking mod, but I didn't really try it. Oh yeah, and and we blew up again. That freeze was real time, by the way. And we are back after loading the quick save again. I honestly have no idea what happened back then. Why did we explode? Like, I didn't hit the station, but we are basically docked, and we docked from quite far away. I am not sure how that works, but oh well, I'm gonna take it. We can finally view our station in all of its glory and transfer our Kerbals on board into the hitchhiker module, I believe. And there is one passenger I did not expect to be there. It's Valentina. I have no idea how she got there. Maybe she stayed over from when I delivered snacks, because this is my second Dragon docking to the station. The first one was just a test to see if I can even approach the station without the whole freaking thing exploding. And as you can see, there is a way. Where's a will, there's a way, as they say. So things seem to be looking fine. We are still in orbit. Our second station is also orbiting. And this is the first degradation you'll see in this series. My Dragon capsule and the service/storage module are kind of glitched. One pair of the engines is basically sunken into the capsule, and it does not give me proper thrust, meaning it's not in line with the ship's mass. And as you can see, we are kind of turning when trying to burn. So I thought I'm gonna be sneaky and save the game and restart the game. And for some reason we didn't save. Whatever. We just had to undock. But the glitch persisted. So I just turned on the engines and the time warp, meaning the ship would not steer itself. That's a proper engineer moment right there. So now that we have finished our deorbit burn, we can close the docking port and stage the service module, leaving just the capsule. And as you're gonna see soon, one of the parachutes is also inside the capsule and the docking port, though it's gonna work correctly. So we just passed the Kerbal Space Center to our left bottom of the screen, I think. And we're heading down for the ocean. Since this is not that interesting, I'm just gonna speed up the footage for you guys. And I'm gonna tell you, the save file is quite resilient right now, but we're gonna keep trying. This is, as I said, first part of the series, and we're gonna play until we can nuke the save file by flying spacecraft or manually. And this is the second launch of the video, and this is a Starlink-like mission. This is something different. This is something I've never done in KSP ever, because there's no need for it. But let's say we're gonna provide fast speed internet for all of the Kerbal, and also we're gonna flood the orbit with a ton of different satellites. We got 8 sats on board, so we're just gonna make our way into orbit like previously and deploy them in 300+ kilometer orbit with a different inclination. As you see, we are following the 45-degree vector. The Falcon 9 is in its expandable configuration that will provide more thrust to the higher orbit. But upon reviewing the footage, I believe we will be able to land the booster. Though on the other hand, since we don't really land it on the ground back at the KSC, there was no point actually showing you guys how to land it in the ocean again. We had some cheeky re-entry burn show up, some plasma. I have no idea why. It was just upon staging, so I'm gonna say it's a glitch. And we got our second stage up in space, and the fairing is discarded, revealing our sat. It actually looks quite cool looking at it, and it's and we gotta spin the whole thing just to deploy the satellite so nothing collides with anything. So as we are coasting to our designated orbit, doing some burns at apogees, do you guys wanna test out the ISS for yourselves? If y'all want, might consider putting the ISS, say, a craft file on the internet for everyone to enjoy. So let me leave you with that thought, and let's start the rotation and the deployment of our internet satellites. I think I called it a Netsat or something like that. So we got the first deployment, and I got the little docking ports bound to my keyboard, though not all of them work. And there's 8 sats and like 12 keybinds I had to make. So it was quite painful to see that I ultimately had to manually detach the sats from the ship. So let's get rid of said ship and start deploying our antennas and turning on our red flashing lights. So what do you think? How many sats like that should we put into orbit? And is that actually gonna break anything? Like, I tried the space shuttle as well, but I think Intercept Games kinda broke the space shuttle for the time being, because we can't get the iconic shuttle cabin colors with the black tiles and all that jazz. So if you make it a double cockpit, like basically cockpit in cockpit, it just totally flips out on launch. And it was the same vehicle I used in my previous shuttle video, where it was almost perfect. So I don't know, I'm gonna give the X-37 another go probably, because that vehicle is very, very complex. And for the time being, let me rename all the sats so we know what's what, and all that windows popping up from time to time. This is also save file deterioration, just showing you parts of my modding. It's only like quality of life mods. So I hope you guys enjoyed that little video. Hit a like if you enjoyed me breaking the game, a dislike if you didn't, and I'll see you in the next one.